When life knocks you down, and life will knock you down, try to land on your back. Because if you can look up, you can get up. Welcome to Fire with Dr. Ninja Turtle.
Welcome to Fire with Dr. Ninja Turtle. In this video, I'm going to talk about the last 4.5 years since I quit my job and how my life has settled down into the life that it is today, financially free and enjoying life. I'm really concentrating on enjoying life more. So what happened since I quit my job? This has not been a straight line, as you know from my history, right? My life is not a straight line. 4.5 years ago, when I quit my job, I was retiring from the federal government. And a friend of mine said, no, don't retire. He said, take early retirement. People do not tell you, at least my HR did not tell me, that you can quit early, not lose a piece of your pension, and what you can do is pay for your own health care. So I had to pay, and this is a tip for any federal government employees who want to retire early, I had to pay the National Science Foundation, the federal government's part of the health care and my part of the health care. And you can only do that for 1.5 years prior to you becoming 60 and qualifying for your pension. So I did that. And when I was able to qualify for my pension to come in, then it went back down to me only paying my portion of the health care. And I've talked about having an HSA, which I'll talk about more in future videos as I come up to what my life is like today. So one of the things that I want to make sure that I mention is that I gave 2 months notice to my job. Now you might say a person who hates their job and really wants to get out of there, right, would just give 2 weeks notice. No, I wanted those paychecks. I wanted to be able to plan my exit. I didn't want to say, oh, I have 2 paychecks and then that's it, right? I'm just going to live on my teaching income. No, I wanted 2 months runway to settle in to being retired. Now, what did I do during those 2 months? Like I mentioned in the other video, I quiet quit. The same way they quiet fired me. So that was the 2 months. Then I quit. Then I paid the federal government their health care. Now, after that, I'm sitting at home in Maryland, and one night in September of 2021, my wife and I are having date night, and we're looking at houses in Alabama, and we come across a house that happens to match some of the items that I want and some of the items that she wanted. And I said, that's the house. Now, it's September of 2021. Within 2 months, we had our house sold on the market by December of 2021. I had to tell the realtor, I want this house sold now. Realtors want to tell you, oh, well, if you put $50,000 into the house, we can get you $20,000, $30,000 more. No, that's just increasing their commission. I said, I want this house sold as is right now. I was not trying to make a profit, but I did not want to come to the table and have to write a check. So we sold the house for what we owed, and we moved out and we bought this house in January of 2022. So that's how fast that happened. Because I'm a real estate investor, I know real estate, and I made it happen fast. Now, what happened was the bank down here in Alabama said, we're not going to loan you the money because you don't have the income to support this house. So what did I do? The money that I saved from my federal government job for the 3 years prior to quitting my job, I took that money out of the TSP and I put it down on this house, which gave us a very low house payment. Now, once my pension came in, they allowed us to refinance. At that point, I was able to take the lower rate. I bought the rate down even more. So we got a super, super low rate, 30-year loan on this house. Our payments are low because my pension is low, right? Our finances are low. We're keeping our costs down. And so that's what we did with this house. So now we have a low down payment, we have a low payment, and we have a low fixed 30-year loan. Also, I'm paying $100 a month extra just to make sure that we are getting this house at 0% interest. So that's what's happened so far. So please like, subscribe, and recommend my channel to anyone you know who has been knocked down by life and is getting back up. So what am I doing today? Well, what I'm doing today to make sure that I never ever have to go back to a 9-to-5 is that I'm decreasing my expenses and I'm trying to increase my income. And I increase my income by investing more money, because I'm not going to increase my income by teaching more jobs. So in the comments, please put in, how do you increase your income and lower your expenses? I want to know how you do it, because it may be different than how I do it. I don't give you financial advice, I tell you what I've done. So one of the things that I did, and I just mentioned this, was geo arbitrage, which is where you move from a more expensive place to a less expensive place. Now, some people move out of the country, they might move to Mexico, they might move to Asia. Everyone has their different plan to maximize the income that they have. And one of those is to take your federal government pension from a high cost of living area where your pension is based on the differential of that high cost of living area, and then move after retirement to a lower cost area. And so a lot of people do that with the federal government. Their last 3 years, they move and work in a high cost of living area just for the last 3 years of their income. And so that was one thing. One of the things that I've done since retiring, and to bring you more up to date, is that I had 4 colleges. I was working 4 colleges, maybe teaching 7 classes in a semester. And one of the things that I'm really loving is trying to quiet down in life and trying to enjoy life. And that's why you see me out in my yard having fun and in my creek. So what I've done is, in December of 2023, I quit one of my colleges. So I'm now down to 3 colleges, and I am having so much fun. Yes, it's less money, but the time freedom is unbelievable. And now I've lowered my cost of living by lowering my expenses, that the difference in lost income really doesn't matter. So the other thing that I want to talk to you about is how to gamify your savings, because I'm going to, at the end of this video, talk about my savings rate, which I promised to update you all on as we went along. But one of the things that I do is I gamify my savings. So how am I building savings? I've never really built savings before, so I'm going to be honest with you. You know, I have had lines of credit, I've done all kinds of things, but I've never really built savings. So what I do is I take the odd number amount that's in my checking account, let's say it's $7.53, and I move that to my savings account so that my checking account has an even number. I have another friend, she just told me what she does is when she's shopping and she saves money at the grocery store, and they say on her receipt, you have saved $23.52 on this particular shopping trip. She takes that $23.52 and puts that in her savings account. So anything she saves on groceries, she saves to invest. And so whatever your game is that you use as a savings challenge, do that. There are all kinds of YouTube videos on different savings challenges like scratch offs and all that kind of stuff. I don't do those. I just try to make it an even number in my checking account. And that's just how I do it. And so what I want to tell you about now are the things that make me happy in retirement, right? That may or may not have to do with money. Being financially free allows you to do things that you never were able to do before. And for me, my biggest thing is community service. I love riding my motorcycle for charity. I love doing community service. I just picked up a flyer the other day that talked about back to school supplies for children. and my wife and I are going to go out this weekend and buy back to school supplies for children. That's what financial freedom does. One of the other things that I really like to do in my community is serve the homeless. As you know, I was homeless. I'm never going to dodge that. So I have a passion for helping the homeless. So I go out and I serve food to the homeless in my community. The other thing that I do is my wife and I started a family finance discussion once a month. We do this with family members from both her side of the family and my side of the family so that we can pass along the financial knowledge that we've gained and so that we can learn from other family members their financial knowledge. I'm not that big into crypto, but I have a sister-in-law who is really into crypto and she's into options trading. And so I'm learning from her how to do crypto and how to do options. Not that I'm going to do options. I'm a pretty lazy investor. I'll just be honest about that. But I want to learn. I always want to learn. And so that's what Phi Kappa Phi is. I will go into that for a second. It is my fraternity. It's an honor society. And our motto is the love of learning. So that's where that comes from. And so the other thing that I love to do is just having my friends that I ride motorcycles with. This Sunday, we're going to go out and ride the motorcycles just to go to a buffet and eat. So we either are on a charity ride, raising money for charity, or we're just going out to eat. So then I'm going to tell you about my latest thing that I just came up with that I decided to do. There is a YouTube channel called Bethel Budgets. If you can find her, she's fabulous. But what she does is she has these women that she calls budget babes in her community, where she goes to with women in her community to help them learn to budget. And that is more than just doing it on YouTube. That is doing it where you live. And I told her, I said, I would like to start Budget Bros for men who want to learn to budget in my community. And so I did that. I looked at my local library, I called them and they said I can use study rooms. And if I get a large enough group of people, I could use their community room, all for free. You guys know I love free. So what Bethel Budget does, I am starting to do. So I put in Facebook groups that I want to help people get to financial freedom or just stop living paycheck to paycheck. And I have had my very first response. Somebody sent me a Facebook message saying, please tell me more about this finance thing. I had not heard anything for at least a week. And so I thought, well, this isn't going anywhere, but it is. If one person responded in a community group for my town, other people may respond. I am not a financial advisor. I just want to help people in my community. And so I wanted to tell you all my savings rate from when I started on YouTube to where my savings rate is today, because I said what I want to do is increase my savings rate quite a bit for the rest of this year. So when I started this YouTube channel, my savings rate was 37%. As of today, and I'll keep doing updates maybe once a month or so, my savings rate is now at 41.5%. So I am growing the amount that I'm saving and investing. All of that is buying income. And my future income will replace my teaching income. And that's the plan. I've always had my teaching income replace my 9-to-5 income. Now I'm having my rental income and my investing income replace my teaching income. So I won't always have to teach. I can teach if I want to teach, but I don't have to teach. And so the saying that I want to quote that I want to give you to leave with you today is, if you concentrate on what you don't have, you will never have enough. Be thankful for what you do have. You will end up having more. Remember, never let your past determine your future.